Hey, 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 it's Friday. You know what that means? Yes, it's Discoveries of the Week. I cannot be more excited to talk about Discoveries of the Week related to the Renegade restart. All that and more on today's Antidote.
Stay tuned for today's Antidote, brought to you by the Renegade Success Network. Today's Antidote features a healthy dose of thought-provoking insights and information for business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, and nonprofit professionals. Each day since March of 2020, this program has offered that one thing to help you continue on your own unique pathway to success. And now, Renegades, we bring you Bob Graham and Tom Brush.
Good morning, Tom. It's Discoveries of the Week. It's Friday. I'm so excited. Let's get right at it. How are you?
I'm well, thanks. How are you? You obviously are doing very well this morning.
I'm a little wrapped tight today.
Well, that's not necessarily. Well, that's just what it is, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's neither good nor bad. It's just what's real for you today.
And I am going to figure out my lighting and my camera this weekend. Having all kinds of issues with both. That's on my list. Because today I look yellow.
Well,
maybe
it's just the way it is today. You have the opportunity to restart and change and make it different tomorrow.
That's it. Oh, that's a little better.
Well, there you go.
Okay. All right.
Now you just freed up your whole weekend.
Yes. Nice. I like it.
You said you were going to spend your weekend figure out your lighting, so now you can do something different.
I forgot to shave. Okay. It's one of those days.
All right. Well, good morning, everyone. And welcome to today's Antidote, our daily broadcast and podcast, where we have a conversation around a topic. This week's topic has been Renegade Restart. And today we are going to share our discoveries of the week. One of Bob's favorite episodes where we get to look back on what we discussed and kind of pick out our one or two things that we have discovered that we think, just in case you happen to miss the rest of the week, we'll give you some of the highlights here today. For those looking for the former USA Today version of the discussion, you can get the Cliff Notes version. That's what this show is.
And as we go, phrasing, Tom, both of those are old references. USA Today and Cliff Notes. Come on,
that was intentional. There was a purpose behind that. And if you have one thought or idea, or you have a discovery of the week you'd like to share, please feel free to put it in the comments, because we know that it'll add value. Not only it might bring to light something we hadn't considered, or it might add value to someone else. So please feel free to share that. If you happen to be listening to the podcast, we know that there. I skipped one of Bob's favorite things. I apologize. I'm going to take a step back, restart this part of the episode, and say, if you're welcome to share this on whatever social media you happen to be following us on, whether it's Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, or
LinkedIn Live, baby. Copyright Bob Graham, 2022.
So please feel free to use the comments on that social media to share your discoveries of the week. If you happen to be listening to the podcast where there's no opportunity to share, there's no comment section.
You can yell to the car next to you. You can yell to the person on the treadmill next to you. You can talk to your pet goldfish while you're cleaning. There are plenty of avenues, Tom, to share.
So you're saying then they should not have to consider going in to the Ring of Renegades Facebook group and sharing it there?
I guess it's another step, but it's probably a worthwhile step.
We would encourage you that if you have something you'd like to say, please feel free to share it inside our Ring of Renegades Facebook group, where there will be a post up that will give you the opportunity to share your discoveries of the week. It could be about the Renegade restart, or it could be something else you discovered that you wanted to share because you thought your value might help someone else, might have an impact and help them figure out how to take their next step along their own unique pathway to success. So before, though, we get into our conversation today, we start each morning with celebrations. Bob, what are you celebrating today?
This is brutally personal, but it's just got to be. I got a cat last week, and the cat was sick yesterday, had a really high fever, went to the vet, gave him medicine, and today he's back to normal. We've only been together for less than a week, so it was kind of stressful yesterday. He was sneezing all the time. He wasn't eating. So those are signs that cats aren't healthy. And so he's back to normal today. He's climbing on everything and looking at everything and wondering what I'm up to because I'm so tall and he's so tiny. So
probably going to hurt his neck looking up. What is this?
yes.
What is this thing? Excellent. Well, that's
How
a
about
good
you?
celebration. I'm glad that your cat is feeling better.
Yes, thank you. You have a celebration left over from yesterday, I believe.
Yeah, I can't remember what it is. So it'll just have to go as I know I celebrated completing the mile or the marathon running.
Yeah, the marathon in your fitness program. You had another one though.
I know I can't remember what it is. Anyhow,
Okay.
so I'm going to move forward to because it is a holiday weekend here in the United States. My daughter is going to come home and visit, and just so happens my father-in-law is going to come down and visit. So I'm hopeful that maybe my son will come up from DC so we can have kind of a little family gathering this weekend. And it'll be nice to have my daughter home. So I'm celebrating that she'll be home for a little bit of the weekend.
Wow. Will the celebration be on Sunday or Monday?
I don't even know that there's a celebration I'm just celebrating she's coming home. She's coming home today. She'll probably go back on Monday, I believe.
Okay. Nice. That's nice. Yeah. I always forget that your family is so dispersed now that, little different, right?
Yes, it is. They're not always around.
So that's great. Well, and I'm sure there are plenty of families that are planning celebrations this weekend with Labor Day on Monday. And we didn't talk about this, Tom. Are we doing our program at 7 a.m. on Monday?
We usually do.
Okay, there you go. Labor Day, we are going to labor.
For a little bit.
That's it. Okay, I can do that. It's all good.
All right. Well, hopefully if you have a celebration, you are figuring out how you're going to celebrate. Because again, we know that helps you figure out, helps you get in a mindset that allows you to move forward and not worry and be frustrated about the other things. Because we don't find enough time to celebrate. Like this weekend, again, it's one of those things. We'll talk more about that on Monday, I'm sure. Celebrating the labor that we all do to help ourselves, our families, our organizations, and I guess you could offer our country move forward.
Well, in our society, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
All right. So all week we've been talking about the Renegade restart. And today, so we're going to share our discoveries of the week. And as I was thinking back on the week, I found it interesting that when the week started, we both had a little different. Our first discussion was what it is. And you sort of started and went off in this direction as just a reminder of the Renegade piece of it and how we got started, why we came up with that name, some of the thoughts and ideas around being a renegade. And it was completely different than what I was considering the topic was going to be. And I find that a fascinating concept that we were in two completely different mindsets. And I think as we moved through the week, it became a little bit more about restarting rather than a reminder of the Renegade way. Although you did a very nice job on Monday, sort of laying that out for people.
Thank you.
And so I think that it was a little bit more about restart, because we had talked about changing course last week. And prior to that, we had talked about what was possible and letting go of things and taking on more. All of those things, when you do them, gives you the opportunity to restart. And so that was where I was looking as we had that conversation. And I think that was the conversation we had throughout the week. Although if you're interested in learning more about the Renegade part of it and how we got started with it, go back and listen to Monday. And I think it would be episode 654, maybe 653.
I think that's right. Yeah.
Either way. So Bob, what are some of your discoveries of this week?
So I had one big discovery this week, and that is that we are constantly restarting. Sometimes we choose it, and sometimes it chooses us. There are things that happen that, if suddenly someone loses their job today, just company can't afford to pay them anymore, they're going to be restarting probably by Monday or Tuesday. no choice of their own, just circumstance. And you've been in that situation. I've been in that situation. And so you have the renegade restart that is thrust upon you, but there's also the renegade restart that I think you can control. You can say, hey, I've been going down this path. I thought certain things might happen. I thought that I might get the desired result. I might have accomplished my goals, and it didn't work out the way I thought. I don't see it working out if I keep going down this path. So I'm going to switch directions and try something new. And I think that's really that second one. The first one is very powerful and very important. And it happens all the time. And I get that. But the second one to me is much more of a conscious decision and much more of us choosing how we want to proceed and choosing based on whatever criteria we elect to use. And it doesn't have to be, well, all my friends did it this way, I'm going to do it this way. It could be, you know what? I threw both items up in the air and the one that landed closest to me is the one I chose. And I don't know if I told you this, about 15 years ago, I went to a workshop, a weekend-long workshop about mindset and about just going through life. And one of the activities is they had someone from the audience come up on the stage and they asked the person to choose vanilla or chocolate ice cream cone. And I was the person they chose to put on the stage. And it was choose and why each time. And I chose vanilla because I really like vanilla. Try again. Chose chocolate because I really want chocolate. 45 minutes later, and only because someone in the front row said, just choose and say nothing, I realized that you could make a choice without making any observation. You could just choose chocolate, vanilla, I want that one. And it was really eye-opening for me that we can choose things. We can do this restart without having all the data, or we can use all the data that we have available to us. And where I think you and I are going with this is, you have a whole bunch of new knowledge, perspective, experience. I got those in the wrong order. Sorry. Knowledge, experience, perspective that can color that decision as you go forward. As you do that restart, you can say, hey, when I did these things, I got this result. When I did this thing 5 years ago, I got this result. And I saw these things happening. Put those together and move it. So to me, the Renegade restart is about empowering ourselves with all the knowledge, experience, and perspective that we've drawn from a variety of sources, what other people told us, what our customers tell us, what our employees tell us, what we identify on our own, what we read in the newspaper, what we see on TV. You know, they're all those things that we can leverage to make a better choice. And I think often we don't. We tend to just go, well, that didn't work. Or, yeah, this isn't working the way I intended. And so we're going to keep moving down that path because I started down that path. How dare I change it? You know, you and I are doing some resetting of things, restarting. A couple of things. We're looking at a marketing opportunity that is different than we've ever done before, which the other thing about it that I realized yesterday when we were working on that was I think we decided to do one thing and it had a cascading effect. It started to affect 20 other things. It's like, oh, well, we have to think about this. We have to think about this. What about pricing, website and marketing materials and timing? So it's not like we restart and it just is, okay, now I'm going down this other path. It's now I'm going down this other path. And I need to look at all the things around me and figure it out. And are there going to be rocks I have to climb over? And do I bring the right clothes to be able to climb over rocks? You know, or do I have the right shoes? And, oh, there's going to be water ahead. Did I bring something so my phone doesn't get wet? There's a lot of that I don't think we think about when we talk about restarting. I think we just sort of go, yeah, I'm going to change directions. But that cascading effect, as I saw yesterday, as we started to really get serious about something, it's like, oh boy, this is bigger than a simple shift here. This is going to, and in a good way. I think it forced us to have some discussions that were bubbling up that we just weren't going towards. And now we're hitting them head on. So I think that's the other great thing about it. What do you think about all that?
There's a lot there to unpack. You said you only have one thing, and I believe that there was a number of discoveries inside of all
stream
of
of consciousness. Yeah, sorry.
No, that's that was what was real for you. That's what we're here to do, is share our value. That was part of your value. Yeah, I think that there's, I think what you said, there's a lot in there. And I think that it's, off of what you were saying, that I think so often we tried, when we go to restart, it's almost a judgment on what has happened in the past, oftentimes.
Mm-hmm.
And that last step of that last start sometimes gets confused as the restart. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So again, you were talking about the person who goes in today and they lose their job. And I think so often that we allow that ending to cloud what we do moving forward. And it's hard sometimes to not say, well, this happened. I'm only restarting because of this. Rather than saying, okay, you know what? The slate is clean in some regards. I'm bringing with me all the knowledge, experience, and perspective that I have. And I now have the opportunity to choose what to do differently. It's interesting. I think that there's that piece of it. And I think that restart so often has this connotation that something didn't go as planned, that it
failed.
Yeah. And I don't like to use that word. So
that's why I jumped in.
I appreciate that. Correct. Rather than this is just, hey, I've gained all this knowledge, and based on that, I'm going to move forward. And I think even in the case where you go in and lose your job, and whether that's something that you did or just something that happened that you had no control over, it is an opportunity to say, okay, well, what did I learn from that?
Sorry. Cat issues.
And I think that's that was one of the things that I discovered this week. Is it's interesting. I think people have this connotation on restart that is different than, like we talked last week about possibilities.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you talk about, and I saw that somewhere the other day on LinkedIn, I think, and I was almost going to respond, like, because they were making possibilities out to be like, oh, think of all the possibilities, as the only thing that could be possible when you do that is all the amazing things that could come from it.
Right.
There's also a lot of other things that are possible based on anything we choose to do. And I think that's, so it's, rather than thinking about it as a judgment on what has happened or what you are about to do, to think it as just the next step in trying to move forward. And again, as you sort of shared, we have the chance to choose what that next step is. The person who loses their job today could choose tomorrow to lie on the couch and be like, I can't do anything. Woe is me. That's a choice for their restart. Or they could be like, you know what? This is what happened. What did I learn from it? And now how do I use what I've learned to figure out how to restart? And I think that the restart is a really powerful thing when considered as a measurement, a learning, as the results of learning,
mm-hmm.
rather than just as a result of the results that we then place a judgment on.
I do think that makes sense. I do think it's hard, though, to get to that place where you can evaluate that yourself. As you and I have found, two heads is better than one. Having someone else say, well, okay.
Two heads is different than one, is what I would share.
Well, I
may or may not be better.
Right. I think there's a certain element of it that we are so caught up in our own stuff that it's hard to get far enough away from that restart to really absorb the lessons that lead to that. And I think when we understand the lessons, as I saw earlier this week when you and I were working on some of my stuff, it really opened my eyes to things. It was all stuff that I had thought about, but I never thought about it. You asked me questions about, well, what about this? What about this? What about this? And the what about this questions, it's hard to ask what about this questions to ourselves when we're in it, because we're too busy trying to figure out what we're doing.
Or we feel like we've already done that. is the way one of the things I like to think, is that if it's been rolling around in your head for a while, you believe you've covered all the bases you could possibly cover as it relates to you. And in reality, all you've done is you've gone through your knowledge, experience, and perspective and feel like, okay, this is based on what I know, what I've experienced, what my perspective is. This is my choice to move forward. And I think one of the really valuable things about doing it with someone else is they get to also share theirs. And that can have a great impact on what's going on. I mean, I think that was what you saw, was not that I did anything that was rocket science. It was just asking you questions based on things.
You did no preparation for that meeting, right?
I thought about it for a couple of minutes.
But it's not like you went out and looked at my website, looked at my marketing, looked at where you knew things about me, but it wasn't like you had to do the deep dive analysis because it's really in the moment.
Well, and because in some ways it's about you. It wasn't about me. It was about me asking questions to get more clarity on some things that I wasn't clear on, or it was an opportunity to share some of my knowledge, experience, and perspective in a way for you to just wonder if you had considered that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's again the one of the really great benefits of working with someone else is that they help you see things that you can't otherwise see, which often will allow your restart to be different. And again, not because we can't control what the results are going to be. It's just we have to make the best decision that we can based on the time. And I think sometimes having some more input is helpful. I think it also avoids us just restarting to restart.
Right.
And I think
chasing shiny objects,
chasing a shiny object, or really stopping doing something that is just about to work or just about to get different results. Maybe because the work is getting harder or because it's not coming as quickly as you want. And I think all of those things are judgments on past actions that make it difficult sometimes to have a renegade restart. Sometimes it makes it easy to just restart. I think the difference is, and I guess this would be my discovery of the week, is that the renegade restart is an actually intentional decision with a clear goal in mind and an identification of what the next step is.
Ooh, wow. Mic drop. That was good.
Well, I think it's one of those things that we don't, sometimes I think we think about that. Other times we're just like, well, something has forced me to change.
Right.
And okay, so I just have to do something different, whatever that might be, without really considering all of it. And I think sometimes our restarts, we sometimes have to restart our restart when we haven't really considered what did we learn in the past, and that was of value. And because it was tied to a past result, we dismiss it.
Right.
And don't include it in our restart because we don't then think about like, where is it we want to be and what is that going to look like? So I guess that's a long way around giving my discovery of the week, I think.
Well, it was a good one. And folks, if you're struggling with these types of things, if you're having trouble trying to figure out how to restart, if you should restart, what that restart might look like for you, and you want to do it the Renegade way, Tom or I would be happy to have a discussion with you about that, what that might look like. I know Tom, he's one of those guys that in a short phone call and a short Facebook Messenger discussion, he'll probably ask you 3 or 4 questions that those alone will set you on a new path. I know I'm the same way. So if that's something you want to do, track one of us down. You can also go to the Ring of Renegades Facebook group and find us there. You can even post your question or something in that group and have other people give you feedback. So someone might have the knowledge, perspective, and experience that you were actually looking for just by putting it up there and saying, hey, what about this? So I think we don't use that enough in life. As we think of a restart, it's like, you and I were doing something yesterday and we were looking at what other people were doing around that. to see what others are doing, because that would better inform what we could do.
Yes, absolutely. There's no doubt. I think that's it gives you. It just goes back to you don't have to do it all yourself.
Correct.
And that a lot of times that you're just limited by what's real for you. And oftentimes you consider that to be the only way that's possible.
Yes.
Because you haven't explored other opportunities. So
guilty as charged.
Well, we're all that way. I mean, I think that's human nature, right? Is that you like, why, if I'm going to make a decision, I should just sit down and figure it out. Because too often, other times in other places, people don't approach helping you with a decision in that way. They try to tell you what they would do, or they tell you what you should do. And I think, one of the things that we try to do is help you make your decision, because it's your own pathway and you are unique. And so what I want to do doesn't necessarily matter. What somebody else wants you to do, I mean, it can be impactful. And at the same time, it's still, you have to make the choice of what you want to do. You don't have to, but I think there's the opportunity for you to make that choice, to truly be a renegade.
Nice. Can I talk about next week's topic, Tom?
Sure, if you want.
Are we agreed on it? We had a very brief discussion.
I don't know.
Strategies for working less.
Okay.
So that's our topic for next week. This would be got some good ideas there, and we'll talk about how you can work less and get more done. It's actually possible. Tom's off into the thought process.
Well, just as you share that.
Are you going to ruin next week already?
No, I like that. I like the general topic. You know me. There are words that we use that sometimes give a different meaning, and
what
everyone looks at it.
That gives it a different meaning.
I don't know. I just think that it's working less. I think you say that to people, and they're like, "Okay, that means I'm being lazy." Maybe that's what we get to explore.
I think that's part of the discussion.
Yeah. I guess as I think about it, I would think about working differently.
Okay. I just wanted to get the word labor in because it's Labor Day week. That's all I care about. That's the marketer in me.
Fair enough. It's a good process. All right.
Behind the scenes for all of you.
No, I think that I actually think that that's an interesting thing to share with people, is that, again, we're starting a new week. So in some regards, we're restarting. And as we consider what is the next step, we all have our own thoughts and ideas, and which could make it easy, or we could choose to think about it differently because you brought in a different knowledge, experience, and perspective.
There you go.
So maybe you have to tune in on Monday just to figure out what
our topic is.
what the first step of our restart is. All right, everyone. Thanks so much for being a part of our show. Just a reminder, if you have a discovery of the week, please feel free to share it in the comments, or you can go to the Ring of Renegades Facebook group, and there is a post up. And you can share your discovery of the week about Renegade Restart. Maybe you wanted to share that you discovered that Bob and I don't know what we're doing, and we
don't plan very far in advance.
We make it up on the fly. Or there's some other discovery of the week that you have had that might be of value to someone else. So please feel free to go in there and share your discoveries of the week, because we know that when we share our value, it'll have impact on someone, and that might help them take the step they need to move along their own unique pathway closer to success. So we look forward to seeing you inside our Ring of Renegades Facebook group over the weekend. If not, we'll see you Monday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern time, for our next episode of today's Antidote. Have a great day.
Hey, embrace the renegade on you this holiday weekend. An extra day to embrace that renegade. Go for it. It'll be worth it. I promise.
I like that you always promise at the end. It's like the guarantee.
Am I wrong?
Well,
since I've embraced the renegade in me, my life has changed in a million great ways. I've learned a lot. I've discovered a lot. I've had some setbacks.
I think you're real. That's what's real for you.
There you go. There you go.
That's another word, right and wrong, that I try not to use very often either.
There you go.
All right, everybody, go out and make it a great day. We'll see you soon. Thanks for listening to today's Antidote, powered by the Renegade Success Network. The Renegade Success Network helps you confidently create your own unique pathway to success. To learn more about the Renegade Success Network and how you can take your next step, follow us on Twitter, connect on LinkedIn, or join the Ring of Renegades Facebook group. For full details on how you can join our community, go to renegadesuccessnetwork.com. Embrace the renegade in you.